The first item of your feedback that I would like to deal with really relates to the Caribbean Internet Governance Policy Framework. After the 2 workshop sessions we had on Wednesday and Thursday, I sought to, I guess, summarize in the Google Doc that we shared, which I will bring up now. Yes, I'm hoping that you all are seeing that the Google Doc. Yesterday we spent time going through and trying to build up some consensus. I'll just kind of bring it up now so that we see what the current status of the amendments are. The first section we were dealing with here was the vision statement. Actually, just before I get to this, let me also, let me just go ahead with this. I'll just say it, that these sections that we dealt with are the first 3 sections of the Caribbean Internet Governance Policy Framework. After these sections are things that deal with operationalizing it and you know, how are we going to govern the work and all that sort of thing. We haven't actually discussed the details of that in this particular edition of the CIGF, but going forward in terms of in terms of completing the review of the document, we would be dealing with those, right? So we just focus on, and I'll mention more about that a little later on. So just focusing on the sections that we dealt with in terms of amending the vision statement, we pretty much agreed on the first option where we use inclusive instead of equal. This hasn't changed at all from yesterday, actually. So the only thing I did was I crossed off the second option, which was also very similar, but we only needed to leave the first one. I'll ask my support team to keep an eye on the chat and any other feedback modes from the audience, please, as I focus on this document. The second part was the mission statement. This is the old mission statement, and these are the proposals. Just to remind you, we had a discussion yesterday about universal, the word universal and universal service and so on. We introduced the concept of ethical into this. The way I propose that we resolve this universal thing is that we call it universal service access by, and that should cover locality, disability, and everything, because when we're talking universal service, so that's basically what we're talking about. Access for everyone, regardless of locality and ability. We've introduced the concept of information and communications in that first bullet, which really deals with the infrastructure. There was a question as to how to include the human resource development aspect, and the formulation that I proposed overnight was ample resources, capacity, and competencies for the ethical creation. And during our discussions today, it occurred to me that maybe we should make these competencies a little bit more explicit and put in a couple additional words: digital skills and competencies. So that should capture the human resource development aspect of our objective or mission statement. And I think it makes it a bit more explicit as well. The suggestion was we want to create Caribbean content and also be able to access and use non-Caribbean content. So I took on board the suggestion that we split the one bullet into 2 that made that separation. The effect is that we now have 2 bullets that look similar, but they're not exactly the same. So but I think it captures the essence of our consensus. Going forward, we could look further at maybe if we could make the wordsmithing a little more elegant.
Nigel, excuse
yes.
me, I just sent you a comment from Deidre with regards to the first section. She asked if you can please check her comment on the first section.
Let me see which comment. Oh, I wonder if it's on the side. I'm not sure. Are you seeing any comments, Lauren, in the chat or thing, or was she talking about the comments on the side? Maybe she's talking about the comments on the side.
Yes, I believe it's a comment on the side, the comment you would have made on the first section.
Yes, okay. Okay, I'll start from the top. This is the top. Actually, what I'll do is I'll click it and it'll show me what, this was my comment, that this is my preference, and it was accepted. That's, beyond that, there isn't any additional comment I'm seeing on this side.
Oh, Nigel, Deidre's mic is now open, so she will share.
Okay.
Speak, please. Okay.
Okay, go ahead, Deidre.
Nigel, I accepted your change, but then when I looked at it again and I thought about the proceedings of these 3 days, it seemed to be important to move the idea of identity into a more prominent position. So I changed it round to say, let me see if I can do it again. We are wanting to create or to see a society with strong identity and leadership in the global information society. You'll have to change the society, a community perhaps, and then add the descriptors at the end: knowledge-based, digitally empowered, inclusive, if we're, inclusive. It should be somewhere in the comments. I did write it down.
You did write it down there?
Because
Adrian, coming over a little muffled.
Sorry.
Coming over very muffled.
Is any better?
I'm not seeing it on the document itself, but I think what you're suggesting is worthy of consideration. We're not finalizing everything here right now. I think we pretty much agree with all the points that we want to include. Is, as you say, you're suggesting that we put the identity earlier on, right?
Make it prominent.
Yes, to make it more prominent. I'm still looking for the comment, but I'm not seeing it. So maybe it wasn't. Sometimes on these things, you have to save, and I don't know. So what I would suggest is you send it to us, and this is a general comment for persons. We can get you any further comments by email, cigf@ctu.int. What we propose to do is continue this amendment work online and ideally on our website, and we'll be working to get that going, I would say, by October of this year, so that we wouldn't have any significant lapse in its progress. But I can take that consideration on board, and we'll evaluate it. We'll put it to evaluation for people to make comments on. So take your time and resend me the reformulation, and I'll put it in with the basic document, with the base document. Okay, so I hadn't gotten other comments coming down to where I was, where I talked about including the human resource aspect in the mission statement. We had decided to include the word vibrant in the digital, to describe the digital economy that we want. And one change I made overnight was, it was suggested that we include meaningful Caribbean participation in global rulemaking for the internet. This statement was initially put down, I think, in the guiding principles. Yes, I think in the guiding principles, but to me I thought it was more a mission issue than a guiding principles issue. You know, a guiding principle is more of a how do I describe this? A manner of operating. You know, the things that govern your manner of operating. Whereas this was a very kind of specific statement. So I thought it might have been more relevant as a bullet in terms of one of the things that we want to achieve in our mission for internet governance. So I don't know if anyone has any comments on that. Of course, silence would mean consent in this case. I see chat has some comments in it. Let me see if I could locate them myself here. Right, here we have a chat. Okay, I seem to get some agreement. All right, so we go on, then onto the guiding principles. I think we had agreed all these changes here. Let me see if there's anything. I hadn't finalized appropriate consolidation of these 2 points. Take into account the international issues and good practices and the point about partnership, global partnership for the sustainable development goals and so on. So I'll take this forward into the next step of our amendments, right? So this work is really kind of still to be done.
Nigel, I have Deidre again wanting to make a comment. I see a raised hand, Deidre.
Yes, go ahead, Deidre.
Hello?
Yes, we're hearing you.
Yeah, I'm very sorry. I think my thumb hit it when I was trying to move something on the screen. But one thing you missed, again, higher up, you have 2 points, both of which use ethical and legal. One of them, the legal, has been dissociated from the ethical. But I think both of them need to be ethical and legal. The one where the legal is in the wrong place is creation, the first one. It's about the content. Remember, we have 2 about the content?
Yes.
Right. The second one says ethical and legal use, but the first one says ethical creation. Without the legal comes after the creation.
I hear you.
Lawful, sorry, not legal.
Lawful use.
Lawful creation. You have to do both things ethically and lawfully. It is not lawful to plagiarize, to steal somebody's copyright.
Okay.
So you need to create lawfully.
Okay, so maybe we say ethical and lawful creation, use, and distribution. Okay.
And after you were talking about that one, I wondered, isn't the first one about the creation of Caribbean content?
Yes.
And the second one about the use and dissemination. It's a different word, but the use and something of all content.
Right, but the use and distribution applies to both Caribbean and the...
It applies to everything.
Yes.
So you don't want to repeat the use.
Right.
The use
I
and
understand.
distribution comes out.
So that might be the more, what's the word, elegant thing that I mentioned, more elegant statement or
Oh, thank you.
thing that I was talking about just now. So, all right, we'll use ethical and lawful to govern everything, creation, use, distribution. And, but still, I'm not sure. Okay, so we do the creation part, creation, use, but we still have to do distribution. So
The use and distribution both go in the second bullet. Everything is used and distributed, but only Caribbean content is created.
right. All right, so if I put this here and then do and,
and then remove use and distribution.
ethical and lawful creation
Of Caribbean content.
and technologies. That's not, but the second one, ample resources, capacity, digital skills and competence. Well, no, but I think the ethical and lawful creation and use and distribution all apply to Caribbean content and technologies.
Okay, I was making the split a different way. In the first one, I was talking about Caribbean content being created because in the Caribbean, you can only really create Caribbean content.
So, all right.
And the second one is about the use and distribution of everything.
Of both of them, right?
Right.
Okay. All right, I now understand. Okay, so the bullet will only apply for creation.
Great.
The second bullet will be the
use and distribution.
Use and distribution for both Caribbean and, okay, I get it. All right, so I wouldn't, so take this out.
Right.
Lawful creation of Caribbean content and technologies, and then ample resources for the ethical and lawful use and distribution of...
Now you have to put the Caribbean ones back in,
Yes.
or all content.
Yes, okay, I understand. I'll put the Caribbean one back in for the time being. So I'll remember exactly what we meant to do. Right. Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Anything else here?
Nope. That's
Before we
great.
get back down. Right. Right. So I was saying the strategic priority areas. I hadn't made my real changes here. Like, so I was saying state broadband connectivity here specifically might not be appropriate because there is still a place for non-broadband access or access to non-broadband services going forward. So maybe we could talk about maybe appropriate connectivity or something here, but I hadn't found the right words here. And on the right-hand side, we'll talk about both broadband and non-broadband, or broadband and narrowband connectivity. I don't think we had any other comments about the proposed changes on the other priorities. But that is pretty much, so research. Right. Yeah, I think this is still pretty much where we are. I hadn't reformulated those last parts. So I'll take this as the current status of our discussion. And what I'll do is I'll record it. I'll clean it up a little bit and record it in our report of the meeting. And I will also, when we establish our discussion forum for this purpose, we'll also post basically the whole document, and that will be available for that discussion forum, and people will be able to make submissions and so on in any part of the document that they might need to. All right, so we'll take note though that as at the 16th CIGF, this would be the status of the discussion. We'll leave the Google Doc open basically until we move it to another medium, right? So the Google Doc will still be there and open for persons to comment on going forward. All right, so that is the first item of your feedback. The second item of your feedback is now where we open the mic for any general comments about anything related to the CIGF, whether it's content, whether it's logistics, whether it's suggestions going forward or whatever. So we have it open now, and this one is a verbal intervention session. So anyone who might want to speak is free to raise his hand and take the floor. Let me stop sharing.
Deirdre, you can go ahead.
Thank you very much. Is Miss Bernadette Lewis still among us?
Is Miss Bernadette Lewis still among us? Let me see if she is in attendance today. Yes, she is in attendance today.
Because I would like to take the opportunity to thank her for 15 years of the Internet Governance Forum for the Caribbean, and to thank Nigel for the 16th year of the Internet Governance Forum for the Caribbean. This has been a really interesting 3 days. Thank you very much indeed. And to Bernadette, every blessing, good luck, take care. I don't know if you're in London yet, but when you get there, all the very best. Bye-bye for now.
Great. Thank you very much, Deirdre. And you know, you have been a tremendous participant, contributor to the work of the Caribbean Internet Governance Forum. And I have to be careful what I'm saying, but thank you. I'm still here in Trinidad. The borders are closed. But this is, you know, I will be in touch. I will continue to maintain contact with the Caribbean and the work of the longest running Internet Governance Forum in the world. And I just would like to commend Nigel, you know, as I am just a participant. I am a participant this year, and I'd really also like to commend Nigel for the excellent work he has done in keeping the forum alive. And you know, and to the CTU for the work that they are doing in implementing the policy framework for the CIGF. And just one more last plug, and now it will be moving on to the Caribbean Internet Development Foundation to start taking over the work that the CTU has been doing over the years. So those are my comments, and I think this was a very, I was here from the beginning and I've stayed my course to the end. Excellent discussions, great organization, great contributions, and I thank you all for this tremendous work. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. The mic is still open.
So thank you very much for the opportunity, and I wish you well. And I know Bernadette is there. I thought Bernadette was already on BWE, but I don't know what happened. But I want to wish her well.
Yes.
I know her heart is still in the Caribbean. So have a wonderful time, Secretary General, and I'm sure with Nigel holding the fort, all things will be well.
Thank you, Bennett.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Bennett. Okay.
Good show, Nigel.
I'm sorry?
Good show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Very good day.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to leave.
All right. Since it looked like your mic was on or something.
Yes, I thought I was trying to unmute. Well, what can I say? I think, this was a very instructive, informative CIGF, and I just
What happened there?
right. Sorry, I think the internet was unstable for a bit. I just want to congratulate the CTU team on just an excellent 16th CIGF. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you.
Nigel, you asked for suggestions.
Yes. Anything?
Those young people on Wednesday afternoon were great. Can they be persuaded or ask their colleagues perhaps at the 17th Caribbean IGF to be there for the whole period? Because I think they made some very good suggestions, and their input would be a very useful thing to have.
Right. I hear you. And maybe the way to do that is to reach out and involve them in some aspect of the program itself, apart from coming on for a session, involving the content, the general content, that could be a part of their academic training, for example. So I take the point. It's a good suggestion. Okay, I'm not hearing any more. So I would just kind of proceed to wind up then. And what do we expect now after this, after we close today? I've said it before that we plan to redevelop our online CIGF. For those who have been with us for several years might remember in the 2000s, we did have an online forum for internet governance. It kind of fell into disrepair on our website, and we haven't been able to get it going similarly since. But I think now, especially now with post-COVID-19 and the accelerating digital transformation, and in Franca's was digital first, I think it's an imperative that we need to follow urgently on. So we'll be doing that, and as I said, we expect probably as I say, within 2 months, or probably sometime during October, we should be able to be in a position to get it going again. So that's one thing you could look for. And using that medium, we will be progressing the update of the Policy Forum document as quickly as possible to try to get to an issue 4.0, so that we could make sure that it's current as far as priorities are concerned. We'll be archiving the content from this 16th forum on our website. I see we've already got most if not all of the presentation slides uploaded. The recordings, this is a feature of using web conferencing too. The recordings would also be available, I'll say via our website, not necessarily archived on the website itself. So that's another thing that you can look forward to. We'll still be looking to issue the summarized report of the 16th CIGF. I very much doubt that's going to happen during the month of September, but I'll just give a target of fourth quarter of this year, by the fourth quarter of this year, to have it posted. We posted the report of the 15th, but we didn't announce that it had been posted up on the website, but it is there. Also following up from this forum, as Ms. Lewis mentioned, we will be seeking to operationalize the Caribbean Internet Development Foundation, the CIGF. I said earlier maybe it was Wednesday, that we had taken some resources on board late last year to effect this, but with the advent of COVID-19, it stymied our plans to have it done as quickly as initially hoped. So we'll be reaching out to potential partners for the CIDF venture, and hopefully, I think the merits of it are obvious or clear. So we expect that we'll be able to get the support that we're looking for. If we look at what insights I might have taken from this 16 CIGF, I think the youth forum element worked well, and that's probably an area that we can seek to develop and have, as Deidre suggested, more comprehensive participation and input from the youth element in the program and in the various sections of the program. I think the educational value of it would also be made clear, and hopefully they'll be able to see the value of the more extensive participation. I think our theme this year, accelerating digital transformation, it was on point. Everywhere, every discussion we had, there is the imperative caused by COVID-19 to use more digitally powered solutions in order to keep economic activity going, in order to keep education going, and so on. So I think going digital first is one of the things that is impacting practically all of our industries. One insight I found is that it seems like all our Caribbean governments have gotten the message now. And therefore, we need to strike while the iron is hot, clarify and promote the opportunities for collaboration, in order to gauge what synergies might be possible. So certainly from the CTU's point of view, we'll be taking advantage of all the opportunities that we have. And the first one is going to be in the month of September, when we have our statutory meetings, to recommend this greater level of collaboration by our governments to meet the needs that they all now recognize to accelerate digital transformation. The need for digital skills development as well, and the importance of that is an area that we will consider what might be the best approaches for the CTU to take. We'll certainly be doing some outreach on that score. We had attempted to initiate a project through Compete Caribbean most recently to do a digital skills assessment around the Caribbean. As it turned out, the scope of the project turned out to be more extensive than there was budget for. So we'll take that particular task forward to see what else, what other techniques or methods we might be able to use. So those are pretty much my insights from the time. I would just remain now to say thank you to all relevant parties.
Michael, 1 minute, please. We have a comment from Mr. John Lewis. I just hope his mic is open. He would like to make a comment, please.
Okay, sure. Yes, go ahead.
Hi, Nigel. I just wanted to say two things. Thanks for a great 3 days. I think you and your team did a great job. And I also wanted to endorse the Youth Forum. I think the guys did a very good showing, and they could only get better if we encourage them some more. Maybe have sessions probably within the university itself that will help drive some of their thinking, because as we could see, it was just a group of guys, but maybe if we center it or focus it within the university setting, it might generate some more interest and make a wider, better contribution.
Right.
I just wanted to, sorry.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I guess we have the example of the Trinidad and Tobago Internet Governance Forum, which was held at Naparima College in January. So that was a means basically of getting firsthand participation, and the youth were used to run certain of their workshops as well. So
that was good as well, yeah.
Yeah, we could take that thought on board.
Just one more point. Is there any way to get compiled regional information on the CTU website? Because right now you have to go to different places to get different things. And I was wondering if if a thought can be given to compiling, information on maybe security or other governance issues on the CTU website. So there's you can see at a glance what everybody's doing, and maybe link off or whatever. Mm-hmm. It will ease the search and probably keep things buoyant. And one final comment: we're in a pivotal time. We can't go back to how it was before. So now speed is the issue. So we have to turn around things a lot faster. Otherwise, it becomes irrelevant very quickly.
Right. Okay.
Right. So yes, again, thanks for a great 3 days, and too bad there isn't a 4th day.
Yes.
All right.
Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the comments. The Caribbean data on the CTU website is a good idea, and just like doing a survey, it requires the individual countries to respond. And we are looking to do something like that for our spectrum management work, for example. We can start to try to, as you say, consolidate some Caribbean statistics on other topics as interest might be expressed. So you can send, if you have some specific statistical data areas that you're interested in, you can send us an email to CIGF at ctu.int, and we could seek to act on it.
It's good to have the data for local research, because nearly every paper you see, it speaks too much to non-regional data. And I mean, I was looking at one recently concerning enterprise architecture, and all the research is outside, nothing regional to draw on. So, you know, yes, it's like nice ideas, but where's the relevance to the local environment?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Nigel.
Yeah. And well, appreciate too that sometimes the data isn't available, if you understand what I mean. You might want it, but nobody has collected it in the individual.
I'm well aware.
Yes. All right. All right. Any other comments before I say thanks? Okay, I'll go ahead then. We did have a sponsor that came through before the program ended, and this was the Internet Governance Forum Support Association based in Geneva. The IGF Secretariat spoke on the first day of our CIGF, and they basically have been supporting each edition of our CIGF for the past 3 years or so, 3 or 4 years. So I want to say thanks to the IGF Support Association for their sponsorship. Our expenses were not as high this year as when we have a live staging, but still there were some expenses. So we very much appreciate it. Say thanks to our speakers. I think we got some very good feedback from the audience about the content, and I think that is due largely to the quality of the presentations that were made. So I think I'll say thanks to all of our speakers over the 3 days, and particularly the ones who responded at the last minute. We had a couple who spoke today that really came on within the last day or two, and we very much appreciate that. I think it worked out quite well. I want to thank our CTU support staff. Ms. Lewis already mentioned that, and I think the feedback we've gotten is that everything ran quite smoothly. I think we were able to cover the chat and the Q&A and the comments and all sorts of things. So, and every day we were able to do our practice sessions and so on. So there were very few hiccups that went through, and the website was updated and everything. So Michelle, Lauren, Gary, Shanae, Richard, thank you very much for the support that made it happen. And the statement has already been made, but I will also make it. I also want to thank our former Secretary General, Ms. Bernadette Lewis, for her vision regarding this Caribbean Internet Governance Forum and sustaining it over the first 15 years. This is the first edition without her being at the helm, but she was at least present. I'm sure she would be present going in future editions going forward as well. I also want to remind us that last year at our 15th CIGF, it was held here in Port of Spain. We did also give awards to other persons that we consider who were stalwarts to the sustenance of the forum over the many years. So I think all of this is testament to the value of what we've been doing. And as the internet becomes more and more pervasive, and in fact, as we now say digital first, I think it's even more important that we use the forum to make the type of progress economically, socially, educationally that the platforms can give us. And finally, I want to thank all the attendees over the 3 days. I think our peak participation was about 63 on any particular day. I think too that maybe going forward, especially to the extent that we're using online methods, I would say we always had a kind of a blend there, bit online and live, that we can probably seek to increase the participation by promoting more aggressively the online participation channels. So thank you very much, all the attendees. I think the attendees, the questions that came in and so on, the comments are very much appreciated, and you helped to make the forum exactly what it was, and hopefully it was a great success. So with that, I would bring to a close the 16th Caribbean Internet Governance Forum and ask you to keep an eye out on the CTU website for further developments and plans for the 17th in 2021. Thank you.